chapter, and I believe we were discussing last time, which was week before last, the various members of the one body and the analogy that he is making between the physical body and the body of Christ, the church. And we'll begin about verse 20, and I believe actually our discussion ought to be about verse 26. Am I correct on that? But now are they many members, yet but one body. And the eye cannot say unto the hand, First Peter, the second chapter, and verse 17, Peter said, love the brotherhood. Well, I should have written brotherhood there. He's talking about the church. I must love the church. I must love the brotherhood. To break that down into component parts, making up the church, that means we are to love the brethren. We are to love our brothers and sisters in Christ, they who make up the church. John, the 13th chapter, verses 34 and 35. Jesus said, "In these commandments give I unto you, that ye have loved one for another, even as I also have loved you. Greater loveth no man than that a man should lay down his life for his friends. And said, by this all men know that you're my disciples, if you have love one to another." And that's the 15th chapter again, in verse 12. He said, "This is my commandment, that ye love one another." So we are to love our brothers. We are to love man in general. Love embraces mankind. Romans 13 and verse 10. Paul said, "Owe no man anything but to love one another." So love embraces, you might say, everything that's holy and good and right and approved of God. We're to love God, we're to love Christ, we're to love the truth, we're to love the church, we're to love our brethren, we're to love all mankind. Now we've got to have that. It's absolutely necessary. It's so necessary that if we don't have it, we'll not spend eternity with our God. This love that embraces God, Christ, truth, church, brethren, man, is eternal. What is it? Well, we'll get into that when we see the characteristics of it expressed in verses 4 through 8 of this text. Before we do that, as has been pointed out on many occasions, and you're all very familiar with this, I'm sure, but it bears repeating in light of our study. The word love comes from one of two words in the New Testament. The Greeks had many words that were translated or would be translated into our English as love. But in the New Testament, the word love comes from one of two words, either agape or phileo. And both of them are very beautiful expressions, would not in any way downgrade, minimize the importance of either one. they're virile, they're wonderful, descriptive terms that express what should be in our lives. But there's a vast difference between the two, and there have been volumes upon volumes written to show the distinction between the two. And to try and give just a summation harmonious to biblical teaching of the separation between the two, phileo is an affectionate type love. I love my mother, I love my father, I love my wife, I love my children, I love my friends, my loved ones, affectionately. That doesn't mean we have to always be demonstrative in our affections in order to be affectionate. Some people are demonstrative and others are not. I'm a toucher type. I'm more or less demonstrative. I put my arms around people. I kiss them. I hug the men. I touch the men. I'll touch them on the arm, or I'll put my arm around them. I'm the demonstrative type. Other people are not. They do not enjoy that. They do not appreciate it. And yet, there is an affectionate, possibly, they may not be, but they may be as affectionate as the individual that demonstrates it. The reason I'm saying that, I got very upset. I had young people to come into our home many of the time when Michael and Michelle were at home, and we're kissing, hugging family. When I see my dad, I kiss him and hug him. I have ever since I was a little kid. When Michael sees me, he kisses me and hugs me. I him. I am. We're that type of family. There are other families you go into, they never kiss one another. Well, they never hug one another. That doesn't mean they don't love one another. They may have as much love and demonstration of love in other ways as my family. But I had young people come in there and they'd say, this is the kissingest one family I've ever seen in my life. So they were just flabbergasted by it. But that's the way we are. But others aren't like that. And it does not mean that we have to be demonstrative in order to have an affectionate love. I know certain people here that love me deeply. I feel that. They love me genuinely. But they'd never put their arm around me. They'd never kiss me. But I know they love me. I don't put my arm around them and I don't kiss them. But I love them. You don't have to be demonstrative in order to have affection. This is an affectionate type of love. It's a very beautiful thing, a wonderful thing. It's what the Lord wants on our part toward others, but it's not as an expressive love as agape from one standpoint. Agape embraces everything that's embraced in phileo. It incorporates that into its meaning. But it is an affectionate type love that demonstrates itself not from the standpoint of hugging and kissing possibly, but demonstrates itself in service. When you love, truly love affectionately, it should express itself in service to that which is love. And this is the word that is invariably used, agape, is the word that's invariably used in the New Testament for the type of love that we are to have toward God, Christ, truth, church, brethren, man, that will bring us to heaven. The word that's used here in 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter, is agape, not phileo. And every expression of it, as seen in these characteristics of true love, 4th verse through the first part of verse 8, states that. It serves. It serves. When it speaks of the love of God toward man, the word that's used is agape, not phileo. Our Lord has an affectionate love for us. But no, he has more than that. He has agape. He has an affectionate love that demonstrates itself in service to us. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son. Christ loves us. Certainly has an affection for us.
here's a John, for example, who is of that demonstrative type. Peter possibly was not. Paul possibly was not, etc. But John was. Here he's reclining on his Savior's breast. And he's laying on him in his demonstration of love. And I think you can see it as you go through the New Testament, the relationship that exists between Christ and his Father. Christ was a loving individual. He had an affection that was undeniable. But when it speaks of the love of Christ for us, the word that's used is not phileo. It's agape. He had an affectionate love that serves. He gave himself for us. When it speaks of the love that we are to have, all these passages speak of the love that we're to have for God, speaks of the love for Christ, love for the truth, love of the church, love of the brethren, and love for man. The term that's used is not phileo, though there are some passages where there's a play on words. The word that's used is not phileo, though we are to have that. The word that's used is agape. It's a word that embraces this, but says serve. If I love God, I serve him. I'll keep his commandments. If I love Christ, I'll serve him. I'll keep his commandments. I'll keep his word. If I love the truth, I'll serve it. I'll obey it, if you want to put it in that context. If I love the church, I'll serve the church. We sing, I love thy kingdom, Lord. And then you ask various ones who have sung that song so vigorously, and I'm sure sincerely, but you ask those to, for example, come to a Bible class. Well, I don't get anything out of the Bible class. Yes, but it's such a great benefit to your brethren. It encourages them. It strengthens them. But they don't have a love for their brethren that's needed. But even though they are not served, they would serve. You'll serve, you'll benefit the teacher of the class. He doesn't need me. Yes, he does. That's what keeps him working. Or her working. We serve. We don't judge things on the basis of being served. We judge things on the basis of serving. The brethren, mankind. It's that love for man, that desire to serve man, that gets us out of seats of complacency to bring the gospel of Christ to them. To become soul seekers. Go into all parts of the world with the gospel of the Son of God. Unless you get love there, they're not going to do it. They're not going to get enough pay if they're evangelists or preachers or missionaries. They're not going to get enough pay to do it. That's for certain. There's not enough glamour in it to do it. That's for certain. There's not anything in it, really, from a physical standpoint, and the only thing that prompts doing it is love for man that serves. So Paul is saying by the Spirit of the Lord, this is absolutely necessary if you're going to go to heaven. Now let's see how absolutely essential it is. Though I speak with the tongues of men. Now we're going to get into a full discussion of tongues in the 14th chapter. I'll just say here, in light of that discussion, languages. I have the ability to speak the languages of men. I've always wanted that. I wish I could speak Italian, French, Spanish, German, Portuguese, etc. Wish I could speak Chinese. I'll give up on that one before I even start. The other, the Romance languages, I'll try. Wish I could speak Greek. Wish I could speak Hebrew, Yiddish. And I just marvel at the individual that can speak 5 or 7 languages. I've been with a great many individuals, possibly you have as well, that can speak a number of different languages. And I have appreciated their ability, and I've almost said in amazement before them, but if I speak with the tongues of men, and even go beyond that and have the ability to speak the tongue of angels. Turn over 2 Corinthians 12th chapter and verse 4. Paul's talking about himself being caught up into the third heaven, into the paradise of God. He says how that he was caught up into paradise and heard, notice it, unspeakable words, which it is not lawful for a man to utter. I don't know if he's talking about the tongues of angels, but unspeakable words. Words that you just can't express. As a matter of fact, it's not even lawful for me to utter. Well, if I had that ability, if I could speak with all the languages of men and even go beyond that into the celestial realm and could speak with the languages of angels, yet have not charity, King James says, love, by our modern day application, agape, according to the Greek. I am become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. He says it's worthless. Oh, if we could just learn to put the emphasis where the emphasis belongs. We get so caught up with things, it's just amazing. I tell you, we lose all perspectives. If you have the ability to speak in all the tongues of men, if you have the ability to speak in celestial language, you have not love, it's worthless. Become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. It just doesn't have any meat substance. It doesn't last. You hear a sound, and it's over. It has no possible good connected with it. Though I have the gift of prophecy, gift is not in the original text. If I have prophecy, the ability to speak, to teach by inspiration of the Holy Spirit, and I understand all mysteries. Boy, wouldn't that be wonderful? Man, understand? I've got 1,000 questions at least. Tell Joe. I didn't say million. 1,000 questions at least about my physical body. I've wanted to get with some doctors and sit down and say, why this? Why this? Why this? I'd run their ears off with questions that I've got about my own human body. Why this does this? Why this does this? How does it do this? Why does it do this? Etc. And then you can get out of the body and just get into all other areas of life. And I tell you, there are so many mysteries about life. So many mysteries about life. They've got a number of books that they put out today. And I'd like to buy them, except I just don't have the money for all the books that I'd like to have. But they talk about the mysteries and unfolding the mysteries of life. Do you know about the praying mantis, for example? I think almost where they say it's clicking, a praying mantis is after me. But do you know about the praying mantis? There are a million things, I guess, that you could find out about the praying mantis that would be of interest. And on and on and on. If you understood all mysteries, now I think it's talking about spiritual revelation, the gospel of Christ. But if you have that ability, all mystery, all knowledge. There was a quiz program I got in last night for my class, and they had a quiz program on, and they always captivate me. I would have won $100,000 last night. I really would have. I knew the answers to every one but one question. And now if I could hit the... But if I had all knowledge, I get so perturbed sometimes. I know all the genealogy recorded in the book of Genesis, Genesis 10th chapter, 11th chapter, etc. I know those genealogies. I've studied them, and yet, a week from now, for example, if somebody called on me to present it, possibly I could, and possibly I couldn't. I'd forgotten it, maybe. It's only by complete rehearsal over and over again that it's retained. If you had all knowledge, somebody said, Bill, where's this that scripture found? Oh, it's found there. Bill, what about this? Well, I read a book here a while back in connection with that, and let me tell you what the book said, and you just quote the book. All knowledge. Though I had all faith, so that I could remove mountains. Well, back in Matthew 17th chapter in verse 20, Jesus said, if you had the faith of a grain of mustard seed, the smallest seed, you could say to this mountain, get thee hence, and it would be removed. What would you think
We won't make it applicable to a mountain. Let me just make it applicable to this building. My mother isn't feeling too good. I'd like to visit her. Wouldn't you like to see my mother? I say, okay, building, up and away. Let's go to Dallas, Texas right now. You know, until this building starts jarring and it shakes off of its foundation, and here we soar up into the heavens, and we make a fast trip at 600 miles an hour to Dallas, Texas, and sit down in the backyard of my dad and mother, and I say, okay, let's go in. How would you react? I imagine you'd almost want to fall down in front of me in fear and trembling and in awe and worship me if I had that ability. Of course I don't. But somebody says to this mountain be removed, and the mountain be removed, how would you react to such a person as that? There's no way to explain. We would just be filled with fear and trembling at the power of that individual. We would fall down before them and want to worship them in all probability. Yet if I had that ability, if I understood all mysteries, I had all knowledge, so I had all faith so that I could remove mountains, yet do I have love, heart, I am nothing. Put the emphasis where it belongs. I get a little irritated sometimes at the emphasis that we give to those who are very successful in worldly affairs in the church. Oh, how we shower attention and consideration upon men. Poor thing. Here's some member of the church that's just got a menial job, very dedicated, consecrated, committed to the Lord, and very little attention given to that individual. I taught a preacher one time about that. He didn't appreciate it. Not that I taught him anything really, but at least he got a lesson on the spur of the moment. He was asked to come over and visit one of our brothers who was retired and had a very small income, just barely eked out a living. He was old, but very dedicated and consecrated to the Lord. Matter of fact, he could ask for somebody to be over there to dig ditches, and he'd be over there 70 years of age trying to dig a ditch. He'd be there at least helping. Very dedicated work. I had another member of the church who was very well off financially. And he was a dedicated Christian. Very dedicated. Wouldn't minimize his service to the Lord in any way. And the preacher came and held a meeting for him. The first brother, the older brother, came up and said, I'd like you to come over and visit with me tomorrow before you leave town. I'd like to talk to you for a little bit. He said, I just don't have time. Well, that could well be true. And you don't have time, of course, to meet all the demands that people place upon you, especially in me. I just don't have time. And I never thought a thing about it. But then the other brother, a little later, came to him and said, I'd like to come over to my house, see my house. A very lovely, beautiful home. And I'll be over there. Bill, what time can we get over there to see? I said, right after we go and see the other brother. He did not get over there until he went by and saw the other brother. That was absolutely certain. In my mind, at least. He got there some other way, but I thought it. You were going by and see this other brother before you get over there to see this brother. Where's the emphasis? We so oftentimes put the emphasis on the physical rather than where God places it and where we should place it on the spiritual. But this individual, whoever he is, and I'm not trying to make this application to those two gentlemen, but whoever he is, whatever may be his ability, whatever may be the worldly standard connected to it, if it's not with love, it's I am nothing. Worthless before God. Though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor. We've had problems in the church in past years, sad to say. Could never have gained the proportions that it did. Over benevolence. Church was divided into many parts over the idea of benevolence.
those who did not believe that we could take out of the treasure the support of an orphanage, and those who thought that you could not take out of the treasure for the support of orphans, whether it be orphanage or otherwise. And others who said, yes, we can, and we should. Well, if I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, incidentally, it's not in this text. So I give all my goods. We have a little what he talks about later in the verse, love in the brotherhood. We wouldn't have been so greatly divided over these issues. A lot of immaturity and a lot of lack of love was manifested during that period of time. Usually is, whenever we get emotionally involved in situations, love just goes out the window. So though I give all my goods, here you're on the right side of the issue. So I give everything that I have to feed the poor. So I give my body to be burned. I'll even suffer a martyr's death for Christ. Have not love. It profiteth me nothing. Worthless. The absolute necessity of true love. Doesn't make any difference what you do, what you are, what you've accomplished. If it's not founded upon love with God, it's nothing. It's worthless. It's profit. Nothing. He couldn't show in any more graphic, descriptive, expressive way the absolute necessity of true love than that which is found in these first three verses. Now, 16 characteristics of true love. Want to go to heaven? Here are 16 things that you have to acquire. Want to live eternally with God? Here are 16 things you must make up your life. You want what you do, what you are, to be of value in the sight of God? Here are 16 things you must have. Boy, I tell you, this is the most humbling thing in the world to read. Love first, suffereth long. It's patient, in other words. Patient. Patient, others. Love is patient. Patient has a number of scriptural applications. First of all, we must be patient towards circumstances. Like Job. Pardon personal application. And here I've been for the past year and a half just beset with allergies, different parts of the body, and seemingly sometimes all the body, but nothing even close to that, broken out in hives. So just, it's so bad I just think I'm going to go absolutely crazy sometimes. I just can't stand it. I think I'm going to go off the deep end. And look at Job. I haven't got anything that's even close to what he has. From the soles of his feet to the top of his head covered with boils. Yeah, he was patient when he taught. The patience of Job. Patience with circumstances. My mother is a very keen one on that, if you'll pardon another personal reference. One of the most patient persons I've ever encountered in life, even if she is my mother. I stand in amazement all the time in connection with her. And wish her son was like her, which he's not. But in her circumstances, one of the most patient people I've ever met. Like unto Job in many respects. We need patience with circumstances. We need patience with others.
We're so impatient with others. I am. I get very upset with others. I'm sure they get very upset with me. So we're to develop patience. Look at Christ. 3 years, day and night, with his apostles, teaching them things pertaining to the kingdom of God, and then right at the last, when he's going to depart from them, here they ask him a question that's about as foolish, silly, ignorant as any question that could be asked. And I can almost see the Lord pulling out his hair, except he didn't. 3 long years, day and night, and then come up with a question like this, and I'm ready to go back to my Father. My earthly work is done. Well, at least they're going to have the Holy Spirit to guide them into all truth and bring to their remembrance. But he wasn't like that. I would be like that, but he's not like that. Patience with us. Third, patience with self. We don't change overnight, nor do we become what we want to be overnight. We do not develop the characteristics and the abilities that we might want to possess overnight. We have to have patience. We've got to work at it patiently. Possibly we'll never be what we wanted to be or think we should be, and God forbid that we would ever arrive. But still, we need patience. It takes a while. If you'll pardon, again, a personal reference, Brother Jay Winter came up to me last night, and to my mind, just made my day, really. Gave me one of the finest compliments that I've ever received. He said, Bill, it's been a long haul. It's been a long time. I couldn't capture a lot of things. But he said, now it's starting to unfold. It's just opening up. He said, I've received in this past year of classes more understanding than I've received the past 12 years. Or I don't think he said 12 years, at least number of years that he expressed. And he said, I guess I'm hearing it for the 7th time. And I said, yeah. And he was very complimentary and very appreciative and wanted me to know how he felt about my classes. And I told him, I said, Jay, that's my payment. That's my reward, what you've given me right now. It's not the money that I get each month. It's what you've given me right now. That's what keeps me working. That's what makes me put forth a little more effort. But Jay stuck with it. That's what I was getting to. Patience with self. You don't get it the first day. If I could get, not because it's me, but if I could get brethren into my classes who would stay with it over a period of time, I think they'd be truly amazed at the understanding that they'd receive. Maybe I'm egotistical, maybe I'm arrogant or something, but I think they would be amazed after a couple of years, 3 years, whatever, at what they would receive in the way of biblical understanding. But you can't get them to stay with it. They come to one class, well, that class didn't hit a home run, maybe I'll try it again, well, he hit a double this time, and then they're gone. It's stick-to-itiveness, patience that brings it. You don't hit home runs every day. You have to hit the single. Sometimes you strike out. Sometimes you walk. Sometimes you hit a double. Very few times do you hit the home run. But you win the game when you stay with it, at least in life. 4, patience with God. People don't generally think of having to be patient with God. And yet it's taught all the way through the Bible. You be patient with God to work things out according to his own good pleasure. That's a hard lesson for me. And well, they're all hard for me to learn. What am I talking about? I start to say, that's the hard lesson for me to learn. They're all hard for me to learn. I'm not patient with circumstances, I'm not patient with others, and I'm not patient with self, and I'm not patient with God. That's a hard lesson learned. Let God keep it in the hollow of His hand. Let Him work it out as He sees fit. And He'll work it out to your good. That's for certain. I like that song in one way. I hate it in another way. He's got the whole world in His hand. I think it's irreverent from one standpoint, and yet it's such a true expression in another way. He does have the whole world in His hand. And one thing's absolutely certain, He'll work it out to our good. We've got to be patient. Let Him work it out according to how He sees fit. No, Lord, I want it worked out right now. Do it today. Do it in the next 15 minutes. God says, I may work it out in the next 15 years. I've got to be patient. That's the book of Revelation, actually. Telling the church there, you be patient. You be faithful, even though it may mean your death. I'll give you a crown of life. So, first of all, love is patience. Patience. Love suffereth long. I like the word suffereth long better than patience. Long suffering. You suffer with it. You suffer. When it comes to the suffering, we give it up, generally, but we suffer long with it, if we have love. Second is kind. I like Tyndall's translation here, courteous. We today, in our society, have lost courtesy. We're no longer courteous people. And I should not talk, cannot talk, but I still like courtesy being expressed. Standing up if a woman comes in, foolish. Opening a door for the woman. Walking on the side of the street when you're walking with a woman, just some expression. Getting on an escalator before the woman if it's going down, and behind the woman if it's going up, all which show respect, honor for the woman and protection of her. I'm not an ERA, for sure. I believe in courtesy, kindness. May not do it myself like it ought to be done, but I believe in it, because that's the love that is so absolutely necessary if we're going to go to heaven. Some of the remarks that we make, we may even put them in the clothing of jokes. And sometimes there's more truth being expressed by the individual in the guise of a joke than anything else. But some of the statements that are made are so unkind. You can see the face redden. You can see how the individual's been hurt. They may laugh it off. They may shirk it off. They may never think about it. But they've been hurt. They're unkind. They should not be. Love is kind. Love envieth not. In Matthew 27 and verse 18, Pilate knew that for envy they had delivered him into his hands. For envy. They didn't crucify Christ upon the cross at the hands of the Romans because they thought him a blasphemer. They were envious of him. The whole world's following after him. Who is this unlettered carpenter's son? Envious. In Acts 13 and verse 45, Paul, when he was in Antioch and preaching, it says that the Jews were envious of him because of the multitudes that heard him. And what did they do? They blasphemed and they rejected his teaching. Envy. What is envy? Well, let me answer. Discontent at another's good. That's envy. I'm unhappy because of the good of another. Popularity he has, the money he has, the family he has, the friends he has, circumstances of life he has, discontent at his good. Unhappy because of his good. Love vaunteth not itself. Doesn't put itself forward. think this is one thing that we preachers need to guard against as much as any one thing. And I think we're forced into it sometimes by the brotherhood. We think we have to be the whole dog of every show. Don't shake your head yes at me. I'm kidding, Rosemary. I said, I think we preachers are subject to this shortcoming as much as any one class. And sometimes we're forced into it by our brethren. We sometimes get to think that we have to be the whole show. We have to be it. And we're forced into it sometimes. And really, I do think we've been forced into it. It's difficult for me to go if we've got a dinner here, you know. I feel compelled to be the show. I have to go around and say hi, hey, hello, hey, you know, and shake hands with this one, shake hands with that one, and everything. I just can't sit down and eat my food. I do. Sometimes, not all the time. But I rebel against such things. Not always what I should be. Maybe one reason that I quit public local work. I rebel against a lot of the positions into which you're forced. But the hail, glad fellow, well, hail, what is it? Hail fellow, well met sort of individual, the PR man, the public relations man, you know, the most boisterous. Look at preachers. They're the most boisterous group of men in practically every situation. They really are. Going to a restaurant, they're just so boisterous and command attention. They've been forced into it. I feel sorry for them, and yet it should not be. Flaunting themselves, putting themselves forward. And we call it in the church a good mixer. He's got to know all the latest jokes, tell everything, you know, in the way of jokes, so that people gather around him and say, hey, isn't he good? You know. That's our society. Preachers been forced into it. There's some preachers that study more joke books than they do the Bible. And I am not saying that facetiously. And again, forced into it. But love does not vaunt itself. It doesn't put itself forward. It doesn't become the main issue in all situations. It puts forward others. My time up, 3 minutes I've got. No? 11:30? Okay, I've got 3 minutes on my watch. Let me finish this one verse. He is not puffed up, the 5th idea. 4th chapter and verse 6, Paul deals with this idea of being puffed up. We studied it back then. In the verse he says, let no one of you be puffed up for one against another. Puffed up. Well, self-interested, indifferent, unconcerned. In the 18th verse, I believe it is, it says, now some are puffed up. And the 5th chapter, when he's talking about sin, known sin in the church, and they've not done anything about it, in verse 2, he says, and you're puffed up. Here it says, love is not puffed up. What? Love is not disinterested. Love is not unconcerned. Love has an interest in others and in situations or things. 5 of the 16 characteristics, we'll get the others next time.